trying to process yet another tragedy. A 14-year-old girl apparently shot and killed by her father before he turned the gun on himself. The unthinkable crime unfolded in Baldwinsville. When 14-year-old Ava Wood didn't show up to Durgee Junior High School Friday morning, her mother called 911, asking police to conduct a welfare check on her daughter and estranged husband, who lived in this home in the village of Baldwinsville. What they found inside? The unimaginable. Ava shot and killed in her bedroom. The suspect? Her father. 51-year-old Christopher Wood found in a separate room, dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound.
It's not an easy scene for either one of us to witness. Both the sheriff and I have been involved in law enforcement for a long time, and to have to walk through a scene such as that is not an easy thing for us to do.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Adi. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it to get notified every time I post a new video. So today guys, we're going to be talking about Ava Wood. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about her case. It's truly a very devastating one. This happened about a year ago in January of 2023, and it's just so truly devastating. As a parent, our job is to protect our children, so I can't even bear the thought of me being the one to inflict harm to my child. But nonetheless, I mean, we always try not to judge, but obviously it's hard not to sometimes. I understand that. We also don't know what somebody's thinking at that moment. Obviously, dealing with mental health, we really just can never really know what's going through somebody's mind at that moment, and clearly the actions that you're capable of doing when you're feeling this way. And I just really hope that covering cases like this does open up the conversation for men, especially because I feel like getting help, going to therapy when dealing with mental health issues, it's a lot less common for men to accept that help. We've all had our moments where we're dealing with things mentally and it seems like it's the end of the world, but at the end of the day, bad times don't last forever. So I always have that mentality of that saying, like, don't make permanent decisions on temporary emotions, and because then you just can't take them back. And it's just a truly sad that this beautiful young girl was robbed of her life when things could have been different if maybe her dad would have just gotten some help. But nonetheless, let's get into the case and let's talk a little bit more about Ava. So Ava Wood was only 14 years old, so young. She was a 9th grader at Durgee Junior High School in Baldwinsville, New York. She was born to Heather and Christopher Wood, and Ava was an only child. Ava was heavily involved in athletics. She was in soccer, track, and field. She was number 18 on the junior varsity soccer team, and she had actually just recently gotten an award from her coaches for her performance during the JV season. Ava had a competitive spirit and she just loved life. She was popular and she was an honor student too. Ava's former coach says Ava struck the perfect balance. She was a leader and focused when she needed to, but she was also fun and full of life. She was a great friend. She had a great personality. She was a spitfire. She was someone who you could just always count on as well. That is a legacy that we want: her work ethic, her athleticism, and her friendships in the community, just to remember that's how great she was. Somebody that you could count on and off the field. And on January 20th, 2023, around 8:30 in the morning, Ava's mother called 911 for a wellness check since her daughter had not attended school, and that wasn't like Ava. And speaking to the 911 dispatchers, Heather let them know that Ava was at home with her depressed father, and she also let them know that Christopher, the father, had sent Heather a text the night before, stating, "This is how it ends for us." And when the police arrived, there was no answer, so they opened the door with the keys provided by Heather, and they found both bodies in separate bedrooms with gunshot wounds, with Christopher, Ava's dad's, seemingly being self-inflicted. The police chief offered a statement saying the gunshot to Mr. Wood does appear to be self-inflicted. However, even though the medical examiner and Sheriff Shelley's criminal investigation unit need to complete their investigation based upon their initial review of the scene, it would appear that it is a likely outcome of this investigation.
It's difficult, to say the least. It's not an easy scene for either one of us to witness. Both the sheriff and I have been involved in law enforcement for a long time, and to have to walk through a scene such as that is not an easy thing for us to do.
Now, Heather and Christopher were still legally married, but they were separated. They were living separate. And just days prior to the incident, Onondaga County Sheriff stated that Christopher had been sending Heather harassing text messages. They had been called to 2 incidents involving Ava's parents, one in March of 2022 for Christopher allegedly stalking Heather, and then the second one just a few days before the tragic incident, which was on January 18th, 2023 for the harassing text messages. Heather told deputies that he should not have known where she was at, but he would constantly show up at her location and he would constantly call her. She said she was trying to keep the relationship together, that she did not want to press charges, but she wanted this documented for divorce purposes. And I'm sure, that's her daughter's father. She didn't want to cause any harm to him, or, by pressing charges, obviously that would affect Christopher, in turn affect Ava. So she didn't want to do that, but obviously she did want to have all that documented to help out for the divorce. Heather did tell the deputies that she did not feel physically threatened by Christopher, and he never physically harmed her. And the messages on Ava's phone do show that she was in contact with Heather, her mother, on Thursday, so the night before, and according to the text messages, it did not seem that Ava was in any kind of distress. Now, the sheriff did reveal that Christopher had just recently purchased the gun a couple of weeks before the incident on January 4th, and he did purchase it legally. And according to the sheriff, Christopher had never owned a firearm before, so this was the first one that they were aware of as far as purchasing it legally. So obviously, with that information, it being that he literally purchased this firearm a couple of weeks before the incident, we can only assume that it was premeditated. And Ava was found in her room, and her father was found in another room with the gun near his body. And Ava's mom issued a statement. "We want to begin by expressing our gratitude for the outpouring of love that we've received in the last 24 hours. It is the love and support from our community that will sustain us in the coming days. To Ava's friends, classmates, and teammates, please continue sharing photos and tributes to Ava. She loved each and every one of you, and we are grateful for the love you have shown her and our family." And a candlelight vigil and prayer service was held for Ava that following Sunday.
The mother of the 14-year-old Baldwinsville girl, who police believe was shot and killed by her father before he turned the gun on himself, is speaking out for the first time tonight. Heather Wood is thanking the community for the outpouring of love and support shown to her and their family during this difficult time. News Channel 9's Adrian Smith learns more about who Ava Wood was and what the young girl meant to the Baldwinsville community.
14-year-old Ava Wood was a high achiever, a 9th grade honor roll student at Durgee Junior High, the MVP of the girls' JV soccer team, and a key member of the track and field team. Tiffany Stubman is Ava's former coach.
Ava had a serious competitive drive. She was one of my go-to athletes on the track and field team. She was someone that I can count on to perform at every single meet, just because she was just so fast and driven and had that competitive nature.
But Ava struck the perfect balance, focused but also fun and full of life.
There were times that the kids would try to sneak and do some tricks or try to alter practice, but for the most part, everybody, especially Ava, you can count on them to do what they needed to do and perform.
An exceptional athlete with a magnetic energy, lighting up every room she walked into.
Her smile, but she was a great friend. She had a great personality. She was a spitfire. She was just someone that you can count on as well. So that is a legacy that we want with her work ethic, her athleticism, and her friendships in the community, just to remember that that's how great she was. Somebody that you can count on always, on and off the field.
Thomas Freyer, the principal at Durgee, says Ava's death is the hardest thing he's faced in his 27 years in education.
Every day I walk out of my house, I have 2 children. I walk here and at 710, that 2 becomes 833. Not having one of those students here, that hurts. And they're mine. I'm their parent for those 7 hours a day. And one of my students wasn't here yesterday and she won't be back.
A candlelight vigil and prayer service is going to be held here at St. Mary's Church in Baldwinsville on Sunday night at 7 o'clock, a way for the community to honor and remember 14-year-old Ava Wood.
The Facebook group Remembering Ava Wood, which is run by Wood's family, has posted about several events over the last year to honor the life of Ava, including a fundraiser that's set up by her friends and students who knew Ava, a fun run, and even a memorial scholarship awarded to a graduating senior from Baldwinsville High School. But yeah, guys, it's just such a sad case, and I can't even imagine if he did it to get back at Heather. I feel like, especially this case specifically, really gets to me because I do have a teenage daughter and she too plays soccer, so I can't even imagine the pain Heather has to be going through. And then remember, we mentioned she was an only child, so my heart goes out to Heather and to all the other mothers that have had a similar circumstance happen to them. I don't want to judge the father, but if he did it with the mentality to hurt Heather, I can't. I don't know, guys. I mean, I feel like even if I'm mentally going through something, I just could never hurt my children. But like I said, we just never know what somebody is going through or what's going through their head. It's just so sad that situations like this, you can't change it. You can't bring Ava back. And it's just so sad. She was so young, so talented, so smart. You know, she was popular and she was still an honor student. Really good at soccer and track and all the other sports she played. And it's just so sad that her life was cut short by her own father. And like I said, I hope that covering cases like this does open up the conversation for men to hopefully be more open to getting help and avoid situations like this. I mean, I know that it's a pretty open and shut case. I mean, there's nothing we can do now. I mean, we can't bring Ava back. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, guys. And remember to be respectful. And if you made it this far, thank you for supporting. And don't forget to subscribe and follow my other socials. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you, guys.